let's talk about tips for developing a home practice. So as you all know, Ashtanga is traditionally a self-practice. So this is individual. It becomes a moving meditation. It becomes something that you don't need any books or videos or anything for. You just need yourself and a mat, maybe some extra things, but the bare minimum, right? Okay, so something that helps a lot is creating a home shala. So of course, not everyone in their house has an extra room. I definitely do not. Personally, right now, I practice either in my bedroom, or if my bedroom is occupied, the space between like the bathroom and the staircase. I have a very 900 square foot apartment. So yeah, so that's personally for me, but I have just like a space where I can say, okay, this is where the yoga is gonna happen. So even if you're practicing in your bedroom, the kitchen, or the hallway of your studio apartment, you need to clear and cleanse the space. So we talk about saucha, we're gonna talk about that more later. So that's cleanliness. This is a huge part of our yoga practice, which literally means cleanliness. So your space, including your mat and yourselves, should be clean. You should have little surrounding distractions. So set up the space and tidy up. This is something that is very helpful. Tidying up the night before you go to bed, so that when you get up in the morning, all you have to do is maybe take a quick shower, brush your teeth, maybe have some hot water or coffee or something, and then you can practice, okay? So that's something we talked about yesterday, or the day before, is taking a shower to clean before practice. Obviously, it's not necessary. You can always just wash your feet and your hands and your face or something like that, but keeping your mat and space clean is very important. Okay, and I said clean bed, clean head. So clean space, yes? Who feels better after they make their beds? Yes, awesome. Make yourself an altar. So you do not need a place of you do not need to worship someone or something in order to have a yoga practice. So in order to have an altar, you don't need to be worshiping a god. You don't need to be worshiping a deity or anything like that. But it is nice to have a space where you can light a candle or some incense. Maybe you have some pictures or items on that space that make you feel comfortable and give you positive thoughts. Plants are a really nice thing that provide oxygen in a yoga space. They create oxygen for the body and they're aesthetically pleasing. So what can an altar be? Just shout it out. What can be on an altar?
Crystals.
Crystals, perfect. Yes, crystals. What else? Flowers, perfect. Flowers, yes, plants. Candles, a picture of your teacher, a picture of your mom, a picture of your kids, a picture of your dog, a picture. Wisdom cards. Ooh, affirmation cards. Things like that. A statue, yeah, if you have a specific deity that you like, or a statue of something else. I have a Ganesh statue. Special token. Ooh, rocks, yeah, rocks. I have seashells from my favorite places, things like that. Yeah, and this can be a little table, or it can be on your shelf or on your TV stand, wherever you have room. It can be anything, just something that kind of means a lot to you. That's a really great thing to have in the space. Warmth. Winter people. Yes.
So I did my bhakti yoga training. Part of it was building altars and talking about altar spaces. And in general, when you make an altar, sorry, I'm just trying to talk to the mic.
It's okay.
When you make an altar, you want to include the 5 elements. So earth, air, fire, water, and ether, which is space, or as my teacher calls it, grace. So think about things that bring in those 5 elements. I grew up with religion in my life, and I had a really hard time with an altar idea because it seemed to me sacrilegious and pagan-y, which I wasn't into. But the idea of just earth, air, fire, water, space was really helpful. So I always keep flowers, and that's earth and water. Open air, so I like my space to be really clean. Fire, I light a candle. Again, water we talked about. And then also grace, the element of grace. So for me, I sometimes have a Ganesh, or a crystal, or even those flowers. For me, flowers are really just special and divine, so, and graceful and beautiful. So just think about that, earth, air, fire, water, grace. And why do we have an altar? It's like Tina said, it can be just things that make you happy or make you feel good. I asked a Balinese person once why we make altars in Bali, and she basically explained to me it's like putting your meditation or your prayers in a visual way, so, or your intentions. And And so every time you walk by, you have a reminder of that nice feeling, that prayer, that intention, or that meditation. And the same reason why we light incense, so when you smell the incense, you're reminded of your intention or your prayer or your meditation, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that, Mom?
The best incense is the one you have.
Yeah, Nagachampa.
It's from Bangalore, which is near Mysore, so it's very Ashtanga-y. Yeah, so what I was saying, save your heating bill, buy a space heater. So warmth is very important. In the winter, a space heater is a good thing to have. Wear long sleeves until your body heats up. You can wear leg warmers if you have them. Allow yourself to sweat. The internal body heat is important for detoxifying and allowing the muscles to gain flexibility. Stay hydrated. So it's best if you don't drink water during the practice, but rather before. Drink hot water 30 minutes before. When you wake up in the morning to warm the body, if you don't drink coffee or tea, you can just drink hot water with lemon. That's really amazing to do. Practicing on an empty stomach is ideal. So you want to be fasting before you practice. So that can just mean sleeping. So that could just mean like, from 8 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning or whatever, whenever you stop eating. I've heard different hours work well, but for me, that's typical, Yeah.
I heard something a long time ago about like coffee being part of the practice or something.
So I think Sharat just used to have this saying, like, no coffee, no prana. And Pattabhi Jois always drank coffee. And in South India, chai and coffee, it's a very big part of life there. But then at some point, Sharat went off coffee, and now he drinks tea. And some people don't drink coffee. Some people drink coffee, think that coffee is, because of the caffeine, it's a stimulant, and you shouldn't have it. So there are definitely different ideas on this. So I think it just goes to you as a person. If you're a person who's grown up drinking coffee and you like to have coffee in the morning, drink your coffee in the morning. If you've never drank coffee before in your life, it's probably not a good time to start.
But it wasn't more than just about drinking.
I mean, coffee gives you energy. Energy is good for Ashtanga. We love coffee. That being said, though, I know a lot of Ashtangis that follow Ayurvedic diets and do not have caffeine ever at all. So I drink coffee. Something I smashed my French press before we left. I was really sad about it. Okay. Have a plan. Of course, life happens and distractions can occur, but it is important to make yourself a schedule. In the traditional Ashtanga practice, we have routines for ourselves. For example, a beginner might start by just practicing Surya Namaskara A and a B for a week, and then the next week they might add on the standing and closing postures. From there, they can continue to slowly add on postures once they feel ready, or ideally when a teacher gives them the next asana. So we've talked about that a lot already, right? Once a practitioner is past the primary series and adding postures from intermediate, they will always take the last day of the week to only practice full primary. So we've talked about that too. You can also, a lot of people do this in the first day of the week. So it just depends on what your schedule is, maybe what your Shala at home schedule is, maybe what your teacher tells you to do. Where are we? Okay, at a certain point, normally at Pinchamayurasana, the practitioner will take intermediate 5 days a week, primary 1 day a week, and 1 rest day a week. Not to mention resting during menstruation or on the full and new moon, which we'll talk about later. This progresses on and on. So Ashtanga might be repetitive, but we never stop learning. So the whole idea that like Ashtanga is the same thing every day isn't necessarily true. It's not necessarily a set sequence. There are set sequences, but they can be different for person to person. Yes?
Yes. Kind of related, kind of not, but about routine.
Yeah.
Someone also has a meditation practice.
Yes.
Would you, I'm sure there's no hard and fast rule, but is it better to meditate before Ashtanga or after?
Yeah, so that's true. There is no hard or fast rule. So she's asking if you should meditate before or after Ashtanga practice. A lot of people like to meditate before, sit on the mat for a while before and practice. A lot of people like to meditate after. And look, I mean, these asanas were traditionally created so that we can sit down after and focus. But if it's better for you to meditate before, I think there is no really rule on that. That's up to you. You can also separate them too and do meditation in the evening or something like that, or vice versa. But yeah, that's your call. Make positive changes in your schedule. Morning practice is ideal. Even if you normally have an early start to your day, you'd be surprised what another hour or two in the morning can do for you. Start small. Watch one less episode of Netflix before bed. That's hard to do. That's hard for me. Try to get to bed 1 hour earlier and set your alarm for 1 hour later. It will take time and practice, but it's possible. Yeah? If you're used to going to bed at 11 or 12, see if you could go to bed at 9 or 10 instead. If you're used to waking up at 7 or 8, see if you can wake up at 6 or 7 instead. Cool. Ditch your device. Buy an alarm clock. Oh, this is something that I did for a long time, and I stopped doing it when I was breastfeeding, so I was always up. But I bought an alarm clock. Like, I bought a little alarm clock, and I kept sleeping with my phone outside the room in a different place, and it helped me so much with my Ashtanga practice.
Not just your Ashtanga practice, life. Tina told me this.
Yeah.
Get an alarm clock changed my life. In Canada, I live in a loft, and so it's all open, and my phone lives downstairs, and so I can set my alarm on my phone, but to actually like turn it off, I have to walk downstairs to get out of bed. And if I wake up naturally, what it means is I don't look at my phone first thing. And here in Nika, my phone's always next to my bed because it's just like, you can't leave your phone in the living room in this country, and I'm just like...
No chargers, no space anywhere else.
Someone can walk into your house and just grab it. Oh. But, yeah, I mean, I just... My anxiety level is significantly higher. I look at my phone... I look at my phone before I go to bed.
And just the whole not looking at the news or anything beforehand, and actually having on... Lots of people say, oh, they need music, but actually if you have it on airplane mode, that's where it really works.
Totally, yeah. You can do it on airplane mode.
That was a game changer.
Buy a record player. No, I'm just kidding. But
sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's great. So put your phone away an hour before bed and don't look at it. That's a big thing too that used to help me get to bed, is not looking at the phone directly before bed. It's just like saying, okay, phone's off now, but I could still read a little bit if I want to before bed. Like we talked about before, don't look at social media or the news in the morning before your practice. Wait until you finish. It's not easy, but can be a great thing to add in your daily life. Leave your phone in another room and even put it on airplane mode while you're doing your practice as well. So that's one thing I want to talk about too. If you are all going back to your normal lives and you don't have a Mysore shala or, sorry ladies, do you have a question? It's okay. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk when I hear something else. Okay. So there are a lot of online Mysore programs nowadays. I don't have like a list of any of them, but wherever you are going home to in your time zone, if you don't have it, obviously going to like a real shala is ideal and it's the best, but if you want to keep up this practice and you go home, a lot of people are teaching online, sorry, I'll get this back to you now. A lot of people are teaching online Mysore now. It's fizzled out less since COVID has disappeared, and studios are open again, but people still do have online Mysore programs. I definitely know for sure Miami Life Center or Om Stars or whichever they are called now, they have a big one. But yeah, look around. It's a really good thing to do because you just set up the Zoom and then you're just accountable, because you have somebody watching you do it. Just having someone, how guys you feel that like when you're in Mysore, just having me walking around, like, just feels different, right? Than it's just if you were home. So if you're home, you can practice a little and be like, I'm tired, I quit. But if you feel like someone's watching you, like, I gotta finish, Yeah. Awesome. All right, so